Well, well, well. We meet again. We may have left Italy, but the Italians will never leave us. Welcome to the Yarn Wall. This week, Jason and I put away our gondolas and take a look into some little, and by that I mean little known actors. And then we spend a few minutes to a half an hour laughing at some smutty films. Then Jason takes us the long way around to one of our all-time favorite films. Cue the music. And in 3, 2, 1, I already forgot it.
You will be soon as big as a giant, or like all the others, dead.
You think I imagined all of it, don't you? You think I'm insane?
That's feng shui.
A match made in a bathroom. Just floating into the void.
As you were saying...
Isn't it called 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon because you're supposed to be able to make it to him within 7 moves?
Was it 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, or was it 6 degrees?
That's what I always called it.
Maybe it was 6 degrees of whatever Will Smith movie that was.
That probably would be easier than Kevin Bacon, I would think. Yeah, it's called 7 Degrees of... No, it is called 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
See?
Or Bacon's Law. I like that.
I think it was 6 Degrees of Separation or something. Is that what Will Smith was in?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I'm
Google
sorry.
search could tell you.
Yeah, but who has the time anymore? You know what I mean?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I think I've seen Independence Day, and that might be the only Will Smith movie I've ever seen.
6 Degrees of Separation has Will Smith, Stockard Channing, Donald Sutherland, Ian McKellen, Bruce Davidson,
Marcel Marceau,
Richard Masur, Anthony Michael Hall, Heather Graham, J.J. Abrams.
Wow.
The list goes on.
So that
and
does
on.
seem like a nexus of, you could use that also. Man, there's a chart online, at least for the Kevin Bacon thing. See, this is why we need to make one for Jack Palance, because if we had a map to go off of.
Yeah, I can't find my ass without a map.
Yeah, we don't.
Is that called astrological signs?
I guess you could call it that.
6 Degrees of Separation reads, an affluent New York City couple finds their lives touched, intruded upon, and compelled by a mysterious young black man who is never quite who he says he is.
Let me say one thing about your readings of these. You do the voice, which I appreciate, but you're doing like the Willem Dafoe thing. Where is it? No, Willem Dafoe? No, I'm sorry. It's Christopher Walken that takes all the punctuation out of his lines.
Right.
You know, that's what I think you're doing.
All right. Okay.
There's commas where there don't need to be any, and then where there should be some, there's not.
Am I adding commas? So I'm changing.
You're adding commas. Like almost after every word, and then reading it like it's weird.
Well, it's because I have to breathe every 2 to 4 seconds. I have to take a deep breath in.
That's why you need to do that like circular breathing thing.
Oh yeah, like Kenny G does that, right?
He does while he's making love to his many female fans. Or I couldn't think of a name for him. What would a Kenny G groupie be called?
The Kenny G spots?
Yeah, the G spots, I guess.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Good one, Tim. I'm writing that down. That's also their bowling league name, too.
Right. You see it on the back of their jerseys.
Yeah.
I was in a bowling league once. It was named Balls Deep. Yeah.
That was the name of your team or the league?
The team.
Okay.
But this is supposed to be a family-friendly establishment, and yeah, we have it up on the board that says Balls Deep.
I'm sorry, you can't play here, guys. We just had a church group come in. Yeah.
But pay your tab before you leave.
What happened to that? Did you just lose interest in bowling?
It was a long time ago. I was somebody else back then.
You've metamorphosized after.
Yeah. I was just a little Amish boy back then.
Man, speaking of Silence of the Lambs, we were watching, we're over at my mom's and she likes Monk. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Monk.
Yeah. All of them, yes.
But that guy, what's that guy's name that played
Tony Shalhoub?
No, that
Or are you
played...
talking about Jamie Gum?
Yeah, Jamie Gum.
That's, I had it, but I wanted to say Demi Lovato. And I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Whole different thing.
Nothing to do with that.
Did I hear that right, that they call him Jame?
Yes, Jame or Jamie.
I mean, Jamie's kind of an old, like, actually my generation type of name. Never heard anyone called just Jame. Anyway.
Ted Levine.
Yeah, Ted Levine. Thank you.
Yeah.
We were watching his hairline.
He plays Stottlemyre.
Yeah.
Yes. His hairline was escaping him.
Oh my God. Well, he's more, he's more bald in Silence of the Lambs than he is in Monk, which was, over a decade later. And, his rug in that show is so bad. I asked my mom, I was like, is that like a plot point, Do they talk about his hair? And she's like, no, it just looks like that. It's like, interesting.
It's a good show, though. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'm watching the like kind of behind the scenes on Silence of the Lambs, and our guy doesn't even list his name. The cop that's in everything. He's great. He was in like Roger Corman movies, and Charles Napier.
Oh yeah, no, we did a deep dive on.
Yeah, we did,
Charles
didn't
Napier. We? Yeah.
Well, let's not retread that stuff. But I love that guy. Also, Tracy Walter is in that. Did we mention that he's in?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, this is going to be how the entire podcast is. I apologize in advance because I haven't done a damn bit of research.
I did too much research that just took me around in loops.
Yes, that's kind of how I felt.
And it's because we're in Italy.
Yeah, that's true.
I got to say, I mean, last week we watched 2019 After the Fall of New York. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe that's
because it seems like it was like a month ago.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
We talked like yesterday, and I'm like, oh, it's been like weeks.
Yeah, I feel disjointed.
Yes. Spring is in the air, and we've got a lot going on right now. We're getting over a pandemic.
Yeah.
We hope everybody out there is getting through this time, and, it's not easy.
No, it's not.
I am perfectly fine with staying indoors and never getting outside and breathing fresh air.
I was doing that anyway.
I believe that fresh air is maybe the worst thing for me right now.
Oh, for sure.
Sunlight, it stings.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like being in church.
Yeah.
My skin just starts to tingle.
I've been staring at a computer screen a lot more lately than I normally do, which is saying something. And my eyes, I feel like the top couple of layers of my, I'm not an optometrist, but the first couple of layers of my eyeballs are just dead, but still, hanging on.
Yeah. That happens in your 40s.
Oh, God.
I had a layer removed from my eyeballs. And
yeah.
Still.
Yeah, still.
And I was thinking, I had this conversation with a couple of people at work because they were talking about, I'm going to get my new prescription for my glasses,
mm-hmm.
right? So I can see better.
This is called Glass Chat.
Yeah. Welcome to Glass Chat.
The NPR show.
Anyway, no, they were talking about, well, you're going to get the glasses that have protective coating from blue light.
Yeah, sure. Blue blockers.
Is that what they're called?
Well, do you remember that old blue blockers commercial that was on TV back in the day? Oh man.
No.
This is like in I guess maybe the late 80s, early 90s.
Okay. Blue blockers. Sounds sexual.
Yeah, I guess you could take it that way.
But anyway, somebody was asking me if I was going to get these glasses that help block blue light. And I'm like, is blue light even a thing? I don't know. Is it hocus pocus? But then again, we grew up in the age where we were sitting 6 to 8 inches away from this giant, huge tube TV.
Yeah, which was constantly fuzzy. So our eyes were trying to adjust to it. And yeah.
So there's no telling what kind of radiation we've absorbed from just that growing up. Now we have to worry about blue light.
Yeah, they find out that static, like that TV static, causes brain cancer or something. Or it is a puzzle that, kind of like a magic eye thing. And you can go into another dimension and whatnot.
Is that what happened with James Woods?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Hey, well, let's go ahead and get this podcast started.
Oh, my God, yes. Let's do that.
Yes. Hey, welcome to the Yarn Wall.
Come on in, guys.
I'm Tim Kornman, and with me as always is...
I'm Jason Walker.
Jason Rudy Tooty Walker.
And quit slamming that damn screen door. That's going to be my quote under my pick. I got to write that down. Quit slamming that goddamn screen door.
You have now ventured into the age of your 40s.
Yeah, when I feel like I can say things like that.
You're becoming a curmudgeon. That's awesome.
Finally.
I chased a rooster out from the yard earlier. So
Did you really?
Every freaking Sunday, they wait till I'm ready to do the podcast, and they start coming in the yard and, I don't know, making eggs. I don't know what they're doing.
Did you eat lightning and crap thunder while you were out there? Like Burgess Meredith would want you to? Didn't he say that in Rocky?
You're gonna crap thunder.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Right. I am all over the place today because I watched a weird 70s Italian film that will be my intro into the Goratorium this week. And
Great.
I have no idea what it's about.
Okay.
After seeing it, it was only subtitled. There's not a dubbed version.
Uh-huh.
But so we'll be talking about that later. I've actually got two kind of deep dives. And one of them is right up your alley that I think you can talk endlessly about. So I know you said you didn't have a lot of research done. I am feeding you the research.
Awesome.
And you are going to be able to take off.
You're basically passing the savings on to me.
Yes. You're going to run with that ball and you're going to get in the end zone and you're going to do a touchdown for the other team.
Okay, coach.
You're going to do a touchdown.
Do a touchdown. You sound like an alien trying to talk like a human. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. What were you talking about?
We're talking about 2019 after the fall of New York. This was a first watch for both of us, correct?
Yeah. Although I feel like I've seen the movie before because there's about 10 other movies that have vaguely the same plot.
Yes.
With the same actors and actresses, usually.
Like I said, it seems like it's been so long since we've done a podcast, and it hasn't. It's only been a week. But I went back and actually watched the trailer for this movie just so I could remember what happened in the movie, because I think so much happened in the movie.
Yeah.
It was trying to be everything. It was trying to be Mad Max. It was trying to be Escape from New York. It was trying to be Logan's Run. It was, what else?
Yeah. Oddly, Planet of the Apes, too. Because they're like, we can kind of, piggyback on them if we just glue some crepe hair to some of these guys. So
that was so strange.
It was. Really was.
I mean, I'm going to trudge over some weird shit from the 60s and 70s today. And a lot of that just seemed like, the blaxploitation, the sexploitation, all of these different movies that nunsploitation, which you talked about recently.
Well, we'll get to it.
Give me one nunsploitation film.
I actually just watched Miss 45.
Okay.
When I say watch, I mean it was playing in the background. It's pretty rough. It's pretty rugged.
Is that MS 45?
Yeah, MS 45. I always assume it because if there's another... if it's referencing something else in the movie, I have no idea, but I always say Miss 45, like they're talking about the main character. But it's, Abel Ferrara, which, I don't think he made a movie that just didn't have a layer of kind of smut on it.
Right. We've talked about him endlessly.
I think he created smut. I could be wrong.
In this movie, Miss 45, he's credited as the first rapist.
Ever?
So no. He's just the first one in this movie. So this movie is going to have
there are several more.
Several rapes, yes.
Ugh. He is the first rapist. And then, she gets raped again. And that's what really pushes her over the edge. But But she is in, for the probably last 20 minutes, she is in a complete like habit and the, robes and everything, but with lipstick and a giant gun. And I think that probably if I was to go to a, I don't know, nunsploitation subreddit or something, they would probably tell me that this didn't really, count as a, because I think technically those have to have, at least the movies that I've seen that are considered nunsploitation are more, they're probably in the, man, am I going to have to guess a year? 1600s, 1500s?
Okay.
I don't know. Whenever there was like a Marquis de Sade and stuff like that.
Right.
That guy.
Right, that guy.
But it usually has to deal with, the Devils, when we were talking about that Oliver Reed movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those where, these nuns are, a lot of them are young and they're all put together in a castle and they're just horny and there's the devil and making everybody more horny.
And what do you expect's going to happen?
Exactly. So those type of things like a la carte and, foreign-y movies. Can we say that? Foreign-y movies?
You say that a lot.
Well, they're French and Italian.
Hey, we're foreign.
They're part of the Euro, whatever.
They're part of the Urax.
Yeah, the Urax.
So, Miss 45 reads, a timid and mute seamstress goes insane after being attacked and raped twice in one day.
Jesus Christ.
In which she takes to the streets of New York City after dark and randomly shoots men with a 45 caliber pistol.
Thank you, Abel Ferreira.
I know I've seen this.
There was a smut vacuum and he just found himself in the center of it. Oh, you know why you've seen it? Is because that clip is in Terror in the Isles.
Okay.
She puts the lipstick on. I think she kisses bullets when she loads them up, and then she goes to that party and just starts blasting people. But yeah, there's a little bit of it in Terror in the Isles. I'm really trying to understand why I watch Terror in the Isles so much. Is it because they showed movies that weren't available on my at my video store? Maybe.
Well, maybe. But there are a couple of recent things that are doing little documentaries talking about different horror films, but they're all talking about the shit that I think has been talked about too much. I like to talk about shit that hasn't been talked about. And that's why I think we've collaborated so well on this podcast, is being able to talk about shit that nobody's, and maybe we're alienating our audience because they're like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
I'm not going to watch this fuzzy YouTube video. These jerks told me to. That's funny that you bring that up though, because the movie that I want to do today, I sort of had to have a conversation with myself about it being too...
Is it too mainstream?
Too mainstream, but when I was like, well, it's mainstream now.
Okay.
But when it came out, it was very much like an auteur's vision that just seemed insane, but has proven to be so popular that like now there's like multiple sequels and,
Okay. So is this another Italian film, or are you going back to the States?
Well, I'm not telling. It'll be in the good old US of A.
All right. That's all I need to know. Okay. Well, we can guess on that later.
Yeah, sure. Have fun with it. Oh, and also, I have one of the longest. That I think that's what I meant to say at the beginning, is that to get from 2019. Oh my God, I'm never going to remember the name of that movie.
After the Fall of New York.
After the Fall. Maybe that's what gets.
Yeah. It's
not during the fall.
It's not prelude to the fall.
No, or praline to the fall.
If you were an ice cream, you'd be pralines and dick.
Oh my God. Such a... Was that Wayne's World 2 or the first one?
I think that's part 2. I think maybe it was part 1. But I didn't understand that joke before.
And then you realized I didn't get it because it was just stupid. It's still funny. I love both of those. That is one of mine. Like, if it's on,
is that a guilty pleasure?
I just stop everything and just watch it until the end.
That's good stuff. It's kind of like, I'll do that to a few movies. Dodgeball was like always on. And when I would get stopped and watch that whenever I want, from any point in the movie on.
We need to do a deep dive on, oh God, I'm so bad with names today. The guy that plays Bill on King of the Hill.
Stephen Root?
Yes, Stephen Root. We need to do a thing about him. He is such a odd, he does drama, he does comedy, he does voiceover.
In fact, I just saw him in a movie because I know you wanted to talk about this movie as well.
Okay.
But I watched it and I fell asleep halfway through it. And
Sounds great.
I need to go back and watch it again because you told me to watch it. I'm talking about The Empty Man.
Oh, yeah.
Because Stephen Root was in The Empty Man.
Holy shit, I forgot about that. Yeah, he's like that was such a creepy, really, guys, if you haven't seen it yet, what did I say it was on? Amazon?
Yes, it's for rent on Amazon for I think $5.
Right.
Or you can buy it for $10. I think my wife just went ahead and bought it.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad now because I need to revisit this movie probably 2 or 3 times.
I don't know what our deal was. We watched a bunch of new horror recently, and we've liked pretty much all of it.
But The Empty Man it has such a bizarre opening.
It does. You think that that's going to be the plot, and then...
Yes. And then you're like, sometime after 20 minutes, it switches to a different movie. And,
yes.
And now you got to catch up on that.
Yes. And it does do it does like a 180, you're like, did something go wrong? And now I'm watching like something else because it really didn't, have anything to do with.
And I think I was confusing the guy in the very beginning with the guy who is playing, is he a police officer? Is he
in The Void?
Yeah. So I thought that the guy from the beginning was they did look too much alike. So yes. I was like, are they the same person?
Right. Or was that like his brother or something?
Yeah.
And that's how it's tied to him. Nope.
It's bizarre, but I wonder if they did that by choice to try to throw people off and make you feel a little bit more uneasy of what the fuck am I watching?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
And it worked.
I enjoyed the movie, but like I said, I nodded off a few times.
It's kind of a slow burn and also kind of, probably shouldn't be like doing housework or something while it's going, because a lot of it is like tension building and the soundtrack and all that crap.
And it's 2 hours and 17 minutes long.
Wow, really?
Yes.
I did not realize. I think we took breaks.
That's probably what I needed to do.
Yeah.
But The Empty Man, for those who have not heard of it, is on the trail of a missing girl. An ex-cop comes across a secretive group attempting to summon a terrifying supernatural entity.
Yeah, that's the type of thing that I absolutely love. And I think I did kind of gloss over a little bit of when he goes to see Stephen Root. Stephen Root is speaking in all of those kind of like religious platitudes or something, and none of it really makes any sense. It's all real, like kind of hippie thought,
yes, but
more sinister. And I need to go back and watch that scene and just kind of isolate, and that little worksheet that they gave him, to like check off, what he was, and it was just a bunch of weird ass shit.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoyed that. And that's why I was kind of thought, okay, that same actor is in this. Is it the same guy that directed it? And no, it's not. Because it has kind of the same vibe as The Void, sort of.
Okay.
But no, this is directed by David Pryor.
David Pryor, who has 28 credits under his belt.
They're all documentaries.
Yeah.
Or like shorts.
Even video shorts on Bad Boys 2. The Making of Blade 2.
I was wondering if these were just, like supplemental stuff on Blu-rays.
Maybe.
I guess somebody's got to direct that stuff,
Yeah, sure.
Why not this guy? He looks friendly enough. Anyway, yeah, go see it. We watched The Power. I don't know if it was The Power or just Power.
Is that the old one that we were talking about? Okay.
No, it's about a nurse who is stuck in a hospital overnight.
It's called Work. Hello.
Yeah, exactly.
You're on the job.
Yeah. You're like, don't feel sorry for her.
Yeah. Give me somebody who's in it, because if you just type in Power, I'm
a
never
lot of
gonna
different
find
stuff.
It. Yes.
Well, it's on Shudder.
Okay.
That helps people who want to watch it.
Who's in it?
Yeah, you're right. It is kind of hard to find. It's called The Power, and it's directed by Corinna Faith, but also pretty good. So there.
Okay. We've had a couple of listeners wonder why we don't cover new films.
Right.
And maybe this is something we should, we might be able to branch out and cover some newer shit that we've watched and put it in a segment and put it up for our Patreon only.
Sure.
So
do like 4 or 5 reviews of.
Mm-hmm. But just little mini reviews, not something that's going to be 2 hours long, because ain't nobody got time for that.
No.
So The Power reads, 1973, a young nurse is forced to work the night shift in a crumbling hospital. It still sounds like it's just your job. I mean, all hospitals have been around too long and are probably crawling with filthy, filthy things.
Yeah. I assume there's a lot of poop involved. Am I wrong?
As striking miners switch off the power across Britain, but inside the walls lurks a terrifying presence that threatens to consume her and everyone around her. That sounds pretty damn good.
It's pretty creepy.
Anybody we know in it?
It's a good question. I don't think I recognized anyone.
Mm-mm. All right. The Power on Shudder. That's a good pick for you.
Yep, watch it. It's kind of a slow burn, but I like those. There's a lot of just like a camera zooming in on a dark hallway, and I don't think anything ever happens. It's just the sound, like the sound bed. I really enjoyed the music in it, kind of the ambient music. It's very, I don't know, somehow it sounded sort of old-timey, plus like Trent Reznor might have helped out with it. It was very weird.
Music department, Elizabeth Burnholes.
Wait a minute. You didn't, are you mispronouncing that on purpose, or?
Nope. Bernholz, Burnholes.
Yeah, that's the only way you can say that.
I'm feeling you, lady. I'm feeling you.
I guess it is memorable.
The other guy, Max D. Wardner, in composing department.
I don't know who that dude is.
He did one called Heavy Load.
Ooh. I don't like the sound of that.
I gotta click on it. I'm sorry. Heavy Load. A year in the life of punk band Heavy Load, whose members include some musicians with learning disabilities. Okay.
What?
It's not exactly what we thought it was going to be.
No. I would not have guessed that plot in a million years.
Not ever. Anyway. All right.
Anyway.
So something to check out. The Empty Man and The Power.
Yeah. Oh, one more. Oh God.
Oh God, Book 2? Oh God, You Devil.
Can we cover those at some point? My brain is not functioning. The Dark and the Wicked. I couldn't remember what the first word was.
You brought that up before, because I think when you brought it up, I was thinking The Righteous and the Wicked, but that's a Red Hot Chili Pepper song.
Right. It's not. Anyway, that's another Shudder movie, and it was very creepy. It actually gave me goosebumps, which I'm kind of used to these, and it was pretty creepy. So The Dark and the Wicked has Xander Berkeley in it.
Oh, yes.
At first, I did not recognize him in the movie. He has a very creepy part in the movie.
The Dark and the Wicked reads, on a secluded farm in a nondescript rural town, a man is slowly dying. His family gathers to mourn, and soon a darkness grows, marked by walking nightmares and growing sense that something evil is taking over his family. Marked by, it says waking nightmares. Oh my God. I said walking nightmares. That's what I was like.
Hey,
you
gotta wake before you walk, I guess. Crazy world.
Where you going to the bus stop?
Yeah. Night terrors.
Cobras.
So yeah.
Your third pick, The Dark and the Wicked. No, I've not seen this.
I kind of let all these like gather up and then I knock them out in one weekend. So
is that it? Okay.
Yep.
I've got a lot to catch up on because I've been stuck in Italy. And let's talk about Italy for a few minutes.
Sure.
Sergio Martino directed 2019 After the Fall of New York. We've talked about him briefly because many times because I keep tripping over his movies, but he did Screamers, the fish people movie that you can't quit talking about.
Yep. I love fish-based movies.
Nothing like a good fish rape movie for Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
And I did the Mountain of the Cannibal God or Slave of the Cannibal God, whatever you want to call it, as a Goratorium intro. This is one guy that we're going to be tripping over for many years to come. I mean, granted, he's got 66 credits, some interesting shit in here. I'm going to go straight into my induction into the Goratorium.
Okay.
Because Sergio Martino directed it.
Aha.
1972, the year I was born.
Ah.
Everything was beautiful, right?
Everything was green and brown. That's what I remember from the 70s.
Is that it?
Yep.
I'm talking about a movie called Tutti Colori del Buio.
Perfect. I think you really nailed it.
I think I did too.
Did you say Tootie?
Rudy?
Tootie.
It's a movie called All the Colors of the Night.
Oh, okay. I've seen this.
You've seen this?
Mm-hmm.
This is a trippy fucking flick.
Okay, now wait a minute. All the Colors of the Dark?
All the Colors of the Dark, maybe.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Rudy Tootie, Fresh and Fruity.
Yes, All the Colors of the Dark. Thank you. This is starring George Hilton, which I'm going to trip on him for a little bit.
Trip out.
This is trippy fucking movie. It is bizarre. It reads a woman recovering from a car accident in which she lost her unborn child finds herself pursued by a coven of devil worshippers.
Awesome.
And this chick is topless throughout 90% of the movie.
Yeah, her name is Edwidge Fenech. And she is in like every other Gio movie ever. Yeah.
Edwidge Fenech.
Yes.
She does a good job in this.
She's an Italian-French co-production.
Like I said, this is only available with subtitles, so I had to read the entire movie, which I'm not opposed to.
You can read. You're a big boy.
Sometimes I get a little sidetracked, so some of the plot points were just a little
you're not going to be able to like go and do dishes or something while you're watching.
But this movie was so trippy that you're not exactly sure what's going on anyway. She's having these nightmares of being stabbed repeatedly by a guy with like some ice blue eyes, right? In a trench coat. He just keeps showing up.
Yeah. And leather racing gloves or driving gloves.
But these scenes in this movie, they are super fucking trippy.
No, hallucinatory.
I mean, they had to have been just, yes, very, very hallucinatory. When she makes it to the devil cult and they decide that in order for her to get through her nightmares of this guy attacking her in her sleep, that she needs to drink the blood of a sacrificed goat and then be serial raped by everybody in the group.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of it.
The blood of a goat was like Herbalife back then. Everybody was on board with it. That sounds like the plot of a lot of these movies. Well, with or without the satanic cult, but everybody in Italy is so horny 24/7.
It's only in passing, and when I read that description, it's only in passing, I think, and delivered in one line in the film that she has lost her child.
Okay.
I do remember seeing the car accident in it, but it didn't look like it was that big of an accident. Oh, maybe
Right.
I'm underplaying it.
Yeah, they all like rode their bikes into each other or something.
Yeah.
Italy. There's scooters.
Her husband is like pressuring her for sex like immediately after this accident. The time between is no...
It's like that afternoon.
That's what it seemed like. You couldn't tell when time was happening, because I think all of these little trippy flashbacks and dream sequences that she's having, and she's nude half the time, and I'm just paying attention to her breasts and not paying attention to what the subtitles say.
Yeah, there's a lot coming at you.
There's at least two things coming at you.
Yes. That might be where you're getting that hallucinatory feeling, is you're just kind of hypnotized by naked Italian woman.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Just Italian nipples.
Like pepperonis.
But it was a good movie. It was 1972, so just like you said, a lot of movies around this time that were really in on this kind of hip.
It's just a big tea
existential,
party.
Yeah. An existential Italian tea party. Yeah.
Yes. That actually pretty accurate. Her Edwidge Fenech, her filmography is hilarious. All of these movies are like, they're like in Italian. You're like, I wonder if that's going to translate to nude,
yes,
virgin, devil. And then you look at it and you're like, yeah, I actually got that right. All three of those words are in there.
I can talk about this movie a little bit more, but really just go out and watch it. You can watch it for free. I'll put a link up on our website so you can see it and you can trip out on it. And hey, just enjoy the visuals, because the plot is
non-existent,
is so strung out. There's one point in the film, and it's early on, that her husband is trying to calm her down. So he puts 2 tablets in a glass of water. Just, it looked like Easter egg dye tablets, you know?
Yes.
They're just blue and they dissolved in the water, and he's swishing them up. And then, here, take this and drink this. Guys, don't drink anything anybody has given you.
Ever, even if it's your husband.
Because this takes me on to what I was watching just recently. That is a newer, it's a limited series on Netflix. It's called The Serpent.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a trippy series.
Is it kind of like a drug cartel sort of thing?
Let me read it off to you.
Okay.
The twisting real-life story of Charles Sobrage, a murderer, thief, and seductive master in disguise who was a hidden darkness in the mid-1970s on Asia's hippie trail.
That last sentence you said.
The hippie trail?
Yes.
Asia's hippie trail.
Asia's hippie trail.
Yes. So he mainly hung out in Bangkok.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
And the guy who's playing him, by the name of Tahar Rahim, he is excellent.
Cool.
This whole series made me uneasy because he was hanging out with this girl who was played by Jenna Coleman.
Okay.
And they were drugging hippies, bringing them back to their place, drugging them, partying, and then basically stealing their identities.
Okay.
And which he's also a gems dealer.
Of course.
So he had people working for him to bring them clients for his gem trade. It's a convoluted plot, but it goes on for 8 episodes.
Okay.
But this guy who plays Charles, Tahir Rahim, did such an excellent job of making you uneasy. And it was well played, but he is drugging these girls and guys constantly. And even the characters in the story are like, how come everybody that comes over to your house and stays, they all get sick?
Maybe it's all the roofies I'm giving them.
It is so unnerving.
Interesting.
It's awesome. I really, really like it. You should check it out. It's called The Serpent.
Okay.
And that's on Netflix. I will not ruin this, but it just came out in April.
Cool. I will check it out.
So that's what kind of made me feel like when watching this, All the Colors of the Dark. So anyway, my point of being is do not accept any drinks that have been handed you, because you don't know if it's going to have Easter egg dye tablets or if it's actually a vitamin. Because that's what he was saying in this show. He's like, oh, this is our body cleansing. Your body's purging out all the other stuff. That's why you're throwing up every other hour. It's not because I'm poisoning you. No, your body's cleansing itself. So
don't be silly.
Yeah. And he killed a lot of people. So I do like it at the end of the series, though, when it starts showing actual pictures of the actual people involved in the story and of the real people, of the real Charles. And you're like, he doesn't look charismatic. She looks like her eyes are sunken into her head. And they had a guy by the name of AJ who just kind of did all their dirty work, just hung out with them and partied all the time, but also helped them dispose of bodies frequently. You're like, I would not have trusted any of these people.
Yeah. Was it Franklin AJ from The Burbs?
Right. No, that would have been awesome.
Okay. Well, cool. I might watch that tonight.
All right.
I see it all the time. I just haven't clicked on it.
So that's what I'm going to tell you about Sergio Martino, All the Colors of the Night, All the Colors of the Dark, excuse me.
Yeah. I think you're thinking of that sex movie with Bruce Willis.
Yes, The Color of Night.
Yeah.
Color of Night.
Color. Yeah, that main actress, that was a real, I mean, the 70s in general, but like 71 to like 76. She is in a ton of, oh no, it goes on into the 80s, I guess. But they're all like that. The Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward.
The Erotic Exploits of a Sexy Seducer.
Oh, she has one just called Naughty Nun.
No, right.
But there's a bunch of, murder mysteries. The Case of the Bloody Iris.
Strip Nude for Your Killer.
Your Vice is a Locked Room, and Only I Have the Key. Those are all like kind of must-watch Italian murder movies. And then there's Hot Potato in 79.
Hot Potato.
And all of these have those awesome Italian posters for them, too.
Yeah. All we're saying is if you thought cinema in the States is awkward in the 70s, go over to Italy. And
they had no compunctions about taking all of their clothes off.
All right, so I'm going to click off that. You want to go into, you got a deep dive for me, or you got just a yarn wall?
We're going to start my my yarn wall, and we'll just see where it takes us. So that's what I was trying to say at the beginning, I guess, is that if the point of that game is to get it within 6 moves, then I have failed because I couldn't. Okay. And also, as we're going through that, well, I guess we have to do it after I tell you where we're going. I'm positive that there is a shorter way to get there. But man, I was really struggling.
And I'd say that to our audience, too. If you can find a quicker way for us to get to that movie.
Yeah, let us know.
Fucking throw it at us.
Yeah.
Email us at moviemoratorium@gmail.com.
Yeah.
I want to hear your take on how we could have gotten there so much easier.
Yeah, or the flip side, which is, take 20 moves to get there and see where it all... I mean, that's kind of the interesting thing is like, sometimes you have to go down some weird corridors.
Mm-hmm. With some weird people.
Yeah. Not a lot of lighting. There's a dripping noise coming from somewhere.
It may or may not be a hospital.
You can hear children playing, but it's like 1 o'clock in the morning.
And it's vacant.
Yeah. There's no one to be found.
Well, let me just go on with my deep dives here, and then we can converge on your yarn wall of it there at the very end.
Sure.
I've got a guy here that I texted you earlier to see if we had talked about him, because I know I talk about a lot of little people.
That's for sure. I mean, to the point where I need to pull you aside and have to talk.
But I love my little people here. I mean, they were so exploited back in the early days, man. Mm-hmm. And just probably put through some shit.
Yeah.
But one little guy here that I wanted to talk about, we have talked about him briefly before, by the name of Angelo Rossito.
Okay.
Or Rossito. Angelo Rossito.
Rossito, I think, yeah.
He played Master in the duo team of Master Blaster and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
They were a team, weren't they?
Yes, they were. But I'm not going to talk about Blaster. I'm just talking about Master today.
Okay, Blaster, go to hell.
Yes.
We don't give a shit.
Who run Bartertown? He is only 2'11".
Wow, that's little.
And he lived to be 83 years old, which I think is really ripe age for a little person, especially for, I mean, he was born in 1908. So in his 20s, he was getting into films. Now, he was in the 1932 film called Freaks. Mm-hmm. Have you seen this? Have you seen Freaks?
I mean, I think I was probably in my teens when I saw it. But yeah, it's been a long time. But yeah, I have seen it. But
it says here on the box, can a full-grown woman truly love a midget?
Oh, my God. That's the tagline for that?
That's what it says on the box.
Oh, I see it right there.
A circus's beautiful trapeze artist agrees to marry the leader of a sideshow performers, but his deformed friends discovered that she's only marrying him for his inheritance.
Oh, that actually is a compelling story. It's just the quote on the front is might throw you off a little bit.
But this is an iconic film, 1932. I don't think I realized it was that old.
Yeah.
And also 1932, our guy Angelo, he was in Tarzan the Ape Man as Evil Dwarf.
Okay.
But if you click on that, and if you look at Tarzan the Ape Man, this was like Johnny Weissmuller. Mm-hmm. There's several evil dwarfs in this.
Oh.
There's at least 5 evil dwarfs, a bird creature.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is very distasteful. I mean, not only are there a ton of little people, but they are painted black and have bones through their noses and stuff. So hey, it was a different time.
Could not have been made today.
Nope.
He was in a ton of different films, but, he had Wizard of Oz, of course.
Right.
Here's a movie, Carnival Lady in 1933. He played dwarf. Meet the Champ. It was a short film. He was a midget. Sign of the Cross. He was an impelled pygmy. I mean, Hell's a Poppin'. He was a dwarf devil.
Yeah. Isn't that like a comedy... comedy duo or something?
The Corpse Vanishes. That's not a MST, right?
Oh, yeah, it is, actually. Show is he in that?
Yes, he's in that. Huh. So The Corpse Vanishes was Bela Lugosi, but Angelo Rossito played Toby.
I feel like people would recognize him, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm recognizing him from, because it's not just Master.
So Lady in the Dark, 1944, he played Bunny Midget.
Okay, great.
This one reads, no, never mind. No, I'm not going to read that one. Scared to Death. 1947. And I had to look at this one. This is also another Bela Lugosi film. And it reads, "From a slab in the morgue, a dead young woman tells the bizarre tale of how she got there. Through a maze of murder involving a hypnotist, a midget, and a mysterious figure in a green mask. Scared to death."
Oh, that's interesting. This is the pictures I'm looking at. Like the pictures I'm looking at are in color.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it says it right there in full natural color. You don't really see. I'm trying to think of a Bela Lugosi movie that isn't black and white.
Yeah, I guess
he actually still looks kind of okay in this. So this is before he was deep in the addiction.
There's another movie called The Sin of Harold Diddlebach.
Okay, now you're just making stuff up.
I know. I had to look up this guy. Harold Lloyd, who played Harold Diddlebach, was actually super prolific back in the day.
Yeah.
And I guess he did not do any talkies. He was only in silent films. But I think in his biography here, I was reading up, he was like the top 10 most successful actors back in the day. So anyway, going back into the 60s and 70s, I know we've talked about The Cat.
Okay.
THE Cat.
Oh, yeah,
the CV series. Yes.
Yeah.
We talked about that before.
Mm-hmm.
He was in 2 episodes of that, I believe.
Thomas Hewitt Edward Cat.
Yes.
The
Played
Cat.
by Robert Loggia.
Man, I love Robert Loggia.
So we had R.G. Armstrong was in 12 episodes. Robert Duvall was in 2 episodes. Roy Jensen, he was in 2 episodes. Just names that we keep seeing over and over again. But I know we talked about The Cat.
Yeah, for sure.
And then our guy, our little master, shows up in H.R. Pufnstuf.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Of course he does.
Of course he does.
He was Clang?
Yep.
Or Seymour Spider? Yeah.
I am slightly too old. No, slightly too young for HR Pufnstuf, but
you feel like you're slightly too old?
Yeah, I do. Damn it. Our friend Kirk and his sister talked about Witchy Poo a lot, and I feel like they talked in Witchy Poo's voice a lot, which is very scary and irritating at the same time. My God, they were on every drug when they made this. They had to be.
I'm sure.
They couldn't have been doing this just
creatively.
Straight.
Angela was also in Alex in Wonderland, and we talked about that briefly before because that's Donald Sutherland playing hippie, and you know, in the trailer you see him in a bathtub. Yeah, we talked about it extensively.
God. All that curly hair. He already has like a head of like basically pubes, and then
all you can think about is what the drain was like in that bathtub.
Exactly. It's just a floating, like, just kind of a, never mind.
Like the thing in Creepshow 2, right?
Yeah, basically, like the raft. That's what his pubic hair is like.
In 1971, our guy was in a movie called Brain of Blood. Okay.
That sounds good.
I watched the trailer for it. It looks like it was maybe 4 trailers kind of put together, just mini trailers where you have no idea what's going on. It says on the box, a blood-dripping brain transplant turns a maniac into a monster.
Wow. Those are kind of lateral moves.
Yes.
Bloody, and redundant.
Yes.
It was a bloody brain transfer. Is that what you said?
It just says a blood dripping.
A blood
brain
drip.
transfer. Yeah.
That's so specific.
You should watch the trailer. It's bizarre.
Is it a who we got here? Al Adamson?
And we're going to talk about him. He's my other guy. He's my other deep dive that I'm giving straight over to you because I thought you could talk about him.
Okay. He seems very like a guy that did Blood Feast, Herschel Gordon Lewis kind of guy.
That's kind of right where he is. Brain of Blood reads, Amir, the benevolent ruler of Khalid, is dying, but there's hope. Freshly deceased, he is flown into the United States where Dr. Trenton transplants his brain into the body of a simpleton in a classic assistant got the wrong kind of body plotline.
Oh, man. Comedy ensues.
Wah, wah.
The mixed up pair.
But this has Regina Carroll, which is actually Al Adamson's wife and shows up in just about every one of his movies.
Yeah.
Okay. And this also has a guy by the name of Zandor Vorkov. Zandor Vorkov.
Okay.
Who only played in 2 movies. And the other one, which we were going to talk about because it shows right back up on Al Adamson's stuff, is Dracula versus Frankenstein. He plays Count Dracula.
I love this guy. I recognize him. I guess it is this Dracula versus Frankenstein.
But Angelo Rossito was also in Dracula versus Frankenstein.
Gotcha. It kind of looks like if Vincent Price was one of the sweat hogs or something.
I love it. But Lon Chaney Jr. is in this.
Man.
Graydon Clark.
Ugh. Now we're talking.
Yeah, Graydon plays a guy named Strange. Forrest J. Ackerman.
Forey?
We've talked about Forey.
Yep.
Anyway, Dracula versus Frankenstein simply reads, Dracula conspires with a mad doctor to resurrect the Frankenstein monster.
Okay, that's it.
So that's his fault. Did he resurrect them just so he could fight them?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He just wanted to like kind of arm wrestle him or something, see who was stronger. One of those covers is really good. The one that's kind of comic booky.
All right. Angelo Rossito was also in 1973, a movie called Little Cigars.
Okay. There's no way that this is a just disgusting, hairy mess.
I think you're right. A gangster's former mistress hooks up with a troupe of circus midgets who, as a sideline, rob banks and casinos.
Duh. I mean, what else are they going to do?
And it's great. So that's like midget gangsters.
I love the idea. That is like my new favorite genre of movie.
Michael Pataki's in it.
Okay, great.
Felix Silla, which we've talked about. He's the little guy who played Dink in Spaceballs and played an Ewok, but he also played in House. We talked about it just the other day as a little critter in House. Mm-hmm. He was the creature in The Brood.
Gotcha. Hey, I'm sorry.
Right.
What movie are we on here?
Little Cigars.
Little Cigars. That's such a strange name.
Billy Curtis, who seems to be following around our guy Angelo a lot too. Uh-huh. So I went down a whole deep dive on little people.
Of course you did.
Billy Curtis is in a movie called The Terror of Tiny Town.
Right, sure.
If you ever wanted to watch a midget Western.
Well, he's also, he's the guy that Clint Eastwood made mayor in High Plains Drifter.
There you go. Let's keep going back on Angelo here because I'm gonna wrap him up.
Wouldn't be hard to wrap him up in something. I'm sorry.
So he was in a couple of episodes in 1978 of Jason of Star Command.
I saw that. It was even, like the link was purple. So I had clicked on this at some point.
I don't remember this.
I don't really remember it either. And I mean, it's got Sid Haig in it. It's got fucking
James Doohan, who was in Star Trek.
God.
Julie Newmar. So this guy, though, Charlie Dell, looks really familiar.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking, too. I think we're getting him confused with another, kind of balding, he's got kind of a ginger fro. And
mm-hmm. There's one guy I had in mind to do a deep dive on. I cannot remember his name, but he looks like this guy.
Okay, I'm looking at Charlie Dell, and he was in Liar Liar. I guess he was just another, lawyer or something. you would recognize him. He's been in like kind of modern stuff,
Yes. And Liar Liar, I think he's the one that walked in on Jim Carrey in the bathroom and said, I'm kicking
his
my ass.
Oh, not typically a Jim Carrey fan, but that movie does make me laugh.
On to 1979, he was in a TV miniseries called Studs Lonigan.
Mm-hmm. I have heard of that before, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
Well, it looks like there was only 3 episodes. It was a short-lived series. It had Harry Hamlin playing Bill Studs Lonigan.
Oh, my God.
Charles Durning playing Patty Lonigan. Brad Dourif is in there.
Oh, see, I think that's who I thought that other guy was.
Okay.
He kind of had a Brad Dourif-y look to him.
So this series also has Colleen Dewhurst in it, which we had brought her up before. She's been in a ton of different things, but she was Dodd's mom in The Dead Zone, because we talked about that just recently. Yeah. We need to talk about her some more because she actually plays the voice of Satan in Exorcist 3.
Oh my God. Did we get that deep when we were talking about? I don't know if I knew that fact or not.
I think so.
Wow. Okay.
So I wanted to talk about that for about 3 hours.
Sure. I guess I do just know her from The Dead Zone, maybe.
No, she was in a lot of the Anna Green Gables.
Yeah. I guess I probably
Leah.
Seen those too.
I'm not going to talk about that.
No.
We've tripped over before several times, and we'll trip over again. And maybe I'll go down a deep dive on her someday. She needs to be talked about. Who gets to say that they were the voice of Satan? I mean,
yeah, that's fucked up.
Studs Lonigan also had Mara Winningham was in one episode.
Awesome.
Dan Shore was in one episode. He plays young Studs.
His name is Studs.
Studs.
If there's anything that I'm taking away from this, it's that his name is Studs. Oh, I see. It's a nickname.
It's a nickname.
Okay.
But it's a nickname that kept up with him since he was a kid. So they were calling him Studs as a little boy.
Please tell me why. It can't be any of the explanations that I'm thinking of right now. I don't like. None of them sound right. Michael Keaton was in that. I don't know that I've ever seen him in like TV.
I wanted to talk about that because if you scroll down a bit from Studs Lonigan in the more like this category, it shows a TV show called Report to Murphy, which was Michael Keaton in a TV show back in 1982. The everyday problems and frustrations of a parole officer as he deals with released prisoners that come and go.
Wow.
Sounds like a wacky comedy to me.
I really like him. I really like Michael Keaton. And it's not just because I've seen Johnny Dangerously 300 times. But, I mean, that helps. But, wow, crazy.
There were 6 episodes of this show. Ken Foree was in 3 of them.
Oh, cool.
Jonathan Banks was in one episode.
Okay.
Dan Hedaya was in one episode.
Oh, now you're talking.
I was just catching up on Better Call Saul last night, which Jonathan Banks is in, playing the best character ever. Also, Michael Keaton was in a short-lived TV series called Working Stiffs.
See, I vaguely remember that. What year was that
Vaguely. 1979.
Yeah. Okay.
9 episodes.
Ooh.
This was Michael Keaton, Jim Belushi.
Oh.
Pee Wee Herman's in there.
Sweet.
It says short-lived, 3 weeks. Slapstick comedy about Ernie and Mike, who are janitors, but attempting to work their way up in a Chicago office building owned by their uncle.
There is a scene of Jim Belushi and Michael Keaton handling a bomb. So I don't know where that. They have
it looks like dynamite.
Yeah, they have like a cartoon bundle of dynamite.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds great. I can't imagine that. Well, it doesn't have many episodes, but I would watch that. I'd watch that right now. In fact, well,
Click.
Yeah, Paul Rubens is Heimlich.
Heimlich.
That's a good one, Tim. This is going to be.
I'm all over the place, but it's all connected somehow.
I guess we were talking about Little People, and now we're almost to the Squeeze. When are we going to do the Squeeze?
I get that one confused with The Big Easy.
Those two movies are very different.
So let's finish up on Angelo Rosito.
Oh, yeah.
He was Tom Thumb in one episode of The Incredible Hulk.
Yes, saw that. He definitely was in Can't Stop the Music, the Village People movie.
I couldn't wait to talk about that.
I assume we will get there eventually.
I can quote it right now if you'd like.
Go ahead.
I mean, there's nothing like Steve Guttenberg walking around in scrotes. He's wearing our 80s scrotes brand of clothing.
That fucking look on his face, that kind of daffy, like he is still like on drugs from being at the dentist, is how he kind of looks all the time. How did I sit through so many hours of Police Academy?
I don't know.
He has a type of charm that lasts for about an hour. About as long as it takes for your glasses to be ready. And when that hour is up, it's like, ugh, thank God this is almost over, because I could not look at him for one more second. Do you have that same feeling about Steve Guttenberg?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Okay, so our guy Angelo Rosito was also in Galaxina, 1980. He played Monster from Egg.
Did he hatch out of something?
I think so.
God.
Have you ever seen this?
No.
This is Dorothy Stratton.
Okay.
Yes, Star 80. Dorothy Stratton. Avery Schreiber.
Okay.
Which we've talked about him because he was in Caveman.
Right.
Right. You didn't want to talk about him. I made you talk about him.
Yeah.
I don't recognize anybody else, but it reads, the crew of a police cruiser Infinity is finally heading home after a long stay in deep space. Just when they think they're about to get some much needed rest and relaxation, the crew is given a new mission. It always happens like that.
Yep.
Damn it. We had 1 week till retirement.
Yep.
Riggs.
One more time.
Cop killers. Yeah, they're given a new mission, journey to the alien world Altar to find the Blue Star, a mystical gem that holds unlimited power.
And apparently an egg that has a midget in it.
So Galaxina.
Yeah, pretty standard Barbarella ripoff, wouldn't you say?
It looks
Isn't
like
that
it.
William Sachs. Oh, he directed The Incredible Melting Man.
I see that. 1977.
He did not do much. He has 12 director credits.
So anyway, finishing up on Angelo here, he was in Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Yeah. Maybe that's what people might recognize him from, besides Thunderdome.
We have to talk about that endlessly. We are going to hit that at some point.
Oh, for sure.
And the last thing I want to talk about is From a Whisper to a Scream.
Oh, boy. Very familiar with that.
This is C. Courtney Joyner wrote it.
Right, yeah.
We talked about him endlessly.
Yeah.
This has Vincent Price, Clu Gulager, Terry Kaiser, Cameron Mitchell. A great cast.
What more do you want?
A little person. Oh,
yeah,
and it has.
I guess that's the only thing this is missing. Have you seen this recently?
No, I have not seen this at all.
Yeah, I really need to revisit it because I remember being very pleasantly surprised when this popped up on cable back in the day that it was as good as it was.
So, I'm interested.
Yeah.
Whisper to a Scream, basically, all it says is a small Tennessee town. A historian relates 4 stories to a reporter.
Yeah, kind of a Book of Blood anthology.
Yeah. Anyway, just wanted to talk about this little guy for a while because he deserved to be talked about.
Great.
We'll forever know him as Master from Master Blaster.
Yeah.
All right, you want to take a little short break before we get on to Al Adamson?
Yes, let's do that.
All right. Hey, freaksters and freakettes. It's Tim from the Moratorium. Do you like the sweet sounds of our witty banter in your ears every week? Well, head on over to our Patreon, and for only $3 a month, you can get even more. In the director's cuts of our movie episodes. On average, that's 20 minutes more of our wisecracking, jive-talking, and lip-flapping laughter straight to your ear holes. Go to themoratorium.com and click on our Patreon link, and you'll find 5 awesome tiers with tons of goodies. You can also find our Teespring link on the website for even more awesome merch. Thank you for your support. Now on with the show. So I need to say just a few more things here about our boy Angelo. Okay. Because I failed to go into his trivia. Okay. Born in Omaha, Nebraska, February 1908. Risotto. I should call him just risotto.
It sounds delicious.
It goes good with a polenta and a risotto. They gotta go good together, right?
Sure. Making me hungry.
I can't wait to have some quinoa.
I said that in front of my mom the other day, and she was like, "Do you mean quinoa?" And I just kind of walked backwards out of the kitchen. It's like, well, I've only been calling it the other thing for about 5 years now, so. Sorry, everyone.
So, he first appeared in silent films alongside such actors as Lon Chaney and John Barrymore.
Ooh, big faces.
And actually, in his trivia says that he was discovered by John Barrymore. So, what was John Barrymore doing? That
he just looked down and he was like, "Oh!"
And I was keeping this pretty tactful, but thank you for breaking that.
I just mean, come on, guys. That one was just...
I thought I smelled cabbage.
I wondered what that was.
So, in subsequent years, Risotto also regularly popped up alongside Bela Lugosi in villainous roles and was a stunt double for Shirley Temple.
Oh, my God. I don't know.
He was a friend with Robert Blake in the TV series Beretta.
Sweet. He was also in the Rockford Files.
Awesome. At age 77 and nearly blind when he was in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
He could have been blind. It wouldn't matter. He had that big guy to run him around.
Hey, over there.
Smack him with a riding crop.
Together with fellow actor Billy Barty, was one of the founding members of the Little People of America. Could never make enough money to live off of with his films, so he ran a newspaper stand in Hollywood.
Cool.
And he regularly appeared as mascot of the LA Thunderbirds roller derby team in the mid to late 1960s.
Oh my God. That sounds fucking amazing.
So, Angelo Rosito, thank you. Welcome to the Moratorium.
One of the good, dead, short ones. I just remember hearing this conversation several times about, people all up in arms about, exploiting little people in Hollywood and stuff like that. And then, their argument is that they, it's work. So,
yeah,
they can do everything that a normal sized person can do, so I'm just saying, some of these were very exploitative, but you kind of have to look at it both ways.
And that's how he came to work with Al Adamson as well.
Okay.
Al Adamson has been around since, he was around in the 1960s, early 1960s, doing films like Psycho a Go-Go, Blood of Ghastly Horror, The Blood of Dracula's Castle, Satan's Sadists. Shall we go into all of these?
Sure. I've probably seen half of them.
Were these prolific around MSTs?
Adjacent.
Okay.
Angels, Wild Women. Some of those people, like Ross Hagen, and they are in, there's a movie called Hellcats.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these have to be, retitled because...
It kind of looks like the same
Kind of looks
film.
like the same movie, but it's hard to tell because sometimes it's it looks like they just made, just all the same actors, but in a slightly different.
That's where I think that in his career, and it says, I think he was around the early biker film movies, that he produced a bunch of these.
Yeah, him and Roger Corman doing the same thing at the same time.
He hung around a lot of different actors like John Carradine and Russ Tamblyn.
Right.
John Cardos shows up in a lot of his films as well.
Yeah, let me get my eyes on this guy. Bud. Well, it says John Bud Cardos, and it shows a picture of a woman, so I'm not exactly sure who he is. Is he in that frame somewhere? Okay, yeah, I see him now. I don't recognize him right off the bat, but he's in a lot of makeup, so I can't... Oh, man, Satan Sadist looks fucking awesome. I know I have seen this because I was trying to figure out the Russ Tamblyn of it all.
Yes, 1969, Satan's Sadists. And the Satans were a bicycle gang. Motorcycle gang.
If they were a bicycle gang, that would be...
Just guys on Huffies.
Yep. They're very fit.
Graydon Clark wrote this.
Yeah, he did. I see it.
Along with Russ Tamblyn, who helped with the dialogue.
They just had a garbage bag full of grass that they were just smoking out of all the time. They called it grass back then.
So Satan's Sadist also has his wife, Regina Carroll.
Okay.
We're going to talk about her. She's showing up in a lot of his films.
Okay. Is she the very tan woman with the giant blonde wig?
It looks like it, yeah. Okay. She got her start around the 60s as well, but got into one that was Dracula versus Frankenstein, Satan's Sadist, The Bloody Ghastly Horror, Brain of Blood, which I brought up earlier, which I saw the trailer for. It just looks totally just crazy. Naughty Stewardesses, Girls for Rent was an Al Adamson film written by John D'Amato.
Oh.
I thought maybe he was connected to Joe D'Amato.
Probably his dad or something.
I couldn't find a connection there.
But again, that link is purple, so I've been through here before.
On Girls for Rent, it just states, a team of girls go on a killing spree across the country. That's what you got.
Okay. I mean, back then, that's really all the plot you needed.
Yeah, sure. So Georgina Spelvin was in a lot of his movies, too. We talk about these same circles. She was the hooker in Police Academy. So Georgina Spelvin, she was in Police Academy. She was in Police Academy 3 as the hooker.
Oh, is it maybe the one that is in like the lectern thing that's like trying to give Lassard a blowjob?
I bet so.
Because I think they do that gag a couple of times.
Yes, you are so correct.
I'm sorry, I've got so many tabs open. Al Adamson. Let's start from there. And then go to...
He directed Girls for Rent,
okay,
1974.
See it right there. And now we're talking about...
Georgina Spelvin, okay, which was also, if you look at her stuff, she was a porn actress. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just get it out there.
Okay.
She was a porn actress. She was in such movies as The Jade Pussycat, 1977.
Okay.
All right. Which had John Holmes in it.
Okay.
She was in another one called The Journey of O, which I want to read. It says, ever since she was a child, Ophelia has had a urinal fixation. Her psychologist sends her to a house in the country where a group session with a lot of men relieves her of this fixation.
What, do they piss on her?
They have to piss on her.
I don't think that means what we think it means.
I think it means what I think it means. It's an X-rated film. Dude, 1976. I think it's a P film.
I've got a dare for you. There is a girl named Claire Dia.
Yes, I'm talking about her now.
Click on that because that is the wildest profile picture I have ever seen.
Yes. I actually have it written here that she looks like Eric Stoltz in the mask makeup playing a woman.
Or maybe like a Julie Haggerty with a pentagram on her forehead. Hi.
Join my cult.
It's just the softest. It's the most insidious cult. Like by the time you turn around, your whole town's part of them because she's just so. Ma'am, do you need help? You need me to help push some air out of your lungs?
So the last thing I want to bring up with Georgina Spelvin with 1975 and the movie called Tars, Jane, and Cheetah.
Okay. Tars for short. Do you think Tarzan wanted to be
in a porno? That's exactly what this is.
Oh boy. Who the hell is Five Fingers Eddie? That's all I need to know. Oh, Tim.
I want to know who plays Cheetah.
Tim, what have you done? What have you wrought?
Oh.
Okay, plot keywords. Sex with a gorilla. Raped by a gorilla. Rape victim. Rape. Erotic 70s.
You're welcome for all of those pop-ups that are going to be showing up
I got a keyword for you. Distasteful. Loathsome. Disgusting.
Awesome.
Wow. Penis bitten off is one of the plot keywords.
Great.
If you just read the plot keywords, this is the best movie ever made.
So let's go back to Al Adamson now. I'm done talking about X-rated films because we could laugh about that for another 6 hours.
My search history is forever cursed.
You're welcome. So Al Adamson also did Lash of Lust. I have clicked on that.
Okay.
I don't know why. He did a lot of Westerns as well. And that's what this is, a Lash of Lust.
As George Schaefer, that was his Western name, I guess.
A man who hears with his eyes and speaks with his gun. Okay. I had a lot of problems with that.
Yeah. How is
I'm confused.
Is he like a lizard or something? Oh, no, that's something different.
It also has Gary Kent, who is in a lot of Al's films.
Okay. Definitely a like childhood friend or something.
Yeah, probably.
He got a real blockhead.
Bud Cardos also shows up in this one.
Okay.
And so does George Buck Flower.
Okay. Love that guy.
He's a guy that we kept tripping over. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just looking at Gary Kent. He did stunts for Bubba Hotep. Mm-hmm. He wrote a movie called The Pyramid that it looks familiar. I almost want to think it was called something else. And he was a production manager on Phantom of the Paradise. Very weird.
Very strange.
Yeah.
And 2017, he was in a movie called Sex Terrorists on Wheels. How about Virgin Cheerleaders in Chains?
I saw that. I would watch that.
And he was an ambulance driver in Freebie and the Bean, 1974.
Oh, there it is. We knew we'd get around to it eventually.
So, no, interesting people that you're going to trip over when you go looking at Al Adamson's films. Let me give you into some of his career stuff here.
Okay, hang on. Can I just say that he is included in a documentary called Rondo and Bob? That looks very interesting, and it has interviews with a lot of has Dee Wallace, Stuart Gordon, Gary Kent's the reason I'm looking at it. Edwin Neal, who's in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Fred Olen Ray, Joe Bob Briggs. Anyway, I'm sure it's a documentary about Rondo Hatton, who has come up before. He's the guy with that weird disease that makes all of his
it's like gigantism.
Sort of, yeah. He has really his hands and his face are really big. And
there's a documentary about Al Adamson.
Okay.
Called Blood and Flesh, 2019. I got to see this.
Yes.
It's on my list of things to watch. It says the real life and ghastly death of Al Adamson. Now, to give you more on that.
Do you know how he died off the top of your head?
Yes, I'm looking at Wikipedia now on Al Adamson. In 1975, with the biker film genre fizzling out, Sam Sherman talked Adamson into directing some softcore porn films to cash in the then popular stewardess film craze.
Stewardess exploitation.
Yes, Blazing Stewardesses was one of his films.
I like that.
Adamson considered the 1974 film Girls for Rent, which is AKA I Spit on Your Corpse, a low point in their association.
Why?
Featuring porn actress Georgina Spelvin raping and then killing a mentally disabled man in one scene.
That sounds really familiar. I mean,
So that sounds like something I'd watch.
it does. It does.
His last major film was 1978, a film called Nurse Sherry, a horror film about a nurse who's possessed by a ghost of a woman who died during a surgical procedure and is driven to avenge the dead woman by killing all the doctors that were involved in her death.
I'd watch that right now.
Al Adamson's wife, the actress Regina Carroll, performed in many of his films. She met him in 1969 when he was casting Satan's Sadists.
That'd be a bitch to say with a lisp.
I'm having trouble saying it without a lisp. Adamson and Regina, she was a waitress at a cafe, and when he went in and started talking to her, and she spilled a cup of coffee in his lap to get his attention. He started casting her in movies, and they got married. She died at the age of 49 of cancer. He himself was murdered 3 years after his wife died.
Okay, now we're getting to it.
Al Adamson was reported missing in 1995.
Oh.
5 weeks later, a law enforcement official discovered his remains beneath the concrete and tile-covered floor where his bathtub once sat. Adamson hired Fred Fulford, who was a contractor, to repair his house in which he intended to flip. He then had given Fulford a credit card to use to purchase supplies, in which Fulford quickly overspent and abused.
Okay.
Adamson had several confrontations with Fulford, the last of which ended violently in his death. Fulford subsequently buried his body in his hot tub and covered it with concrete and tile. So that's where I was getting confused with the bathtub or hot tub.
Yeah,
Tell me what
okay.
it is. Adamson's housekeeper quickly became suspicious over his disappearance and the cover up of the hot tub, which led investigators to Fulford and uncovering the truth. Fulford was charged and convicted of murder and sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. You can hear about Al Adamson's murder in Blood and Flesh, The Real Life and Ghastly Death of Al Adamson. It's a full-length documentary released by Severin Films that covers the entirety of Adamson's life, film career, and untimely death.
He died as he lived in a disgusting hot tub. Wow. That was a lot.
That's a lot.
Tim, you've given me a lot to think about.
And yet confuse you terribly.
Yeah. And kind of make me feel like I need to take another shower. I just took a shower like 30 minutes ago.
So Al Adamson in 1978 directed a movie called Dr. Dracula.
Oh.
Which had John Carradine in it.
Oh, man.
You'll see this name pop up a lot. Jeffrey Land.
Okay.
Who played in a lot of his films. Regina Carroll's in that too. Claire Dia is also in that one. That weird chick with red hair and the pentagram star.
Does she look any more normal?
I don't know. I'm afraid to look. Death Dimension in 1978.
Ooh, I like that.
So Death Dimension reads, the pig has a plan to eradicate some people with a freeze bomb that instantly freezes people to death.
Okay.
It's up to Detective Ash to stop him and protect the woman with the secret to the ice bomb embedded in a microdot under the skin of her forehead.
What?
I don't know. Strange.
It almost sounded like a Austin Powers for a second.
It does. This has George Lazenby in it.
Oh, yep. Slumming it.
Have you ever looked into George Lazenby?
Looked into him?
Yes.
Well, I mean, he was in an episode of The Master, if that's what you're talking about.
Yes, he was.
It was the original. Oh, not the original, but he was James Bond once.
Mm-hmm. Once. He was in an episode of Freddy's Nightmares.
Really?
Alfred Hitchcock Presents. He was in every TV movie that was made in the 90s for Emmanuel.
Oh, yeah. God. Another just like, I mean, there's like 20 of those movies and they're all directed by somebody different. And man,
they're just not necessary.
Just the frustration at being a young boy and, you know, having to watch like just, you know, people traveling. I feel like that was just people traveling a lot by train, by boat. And then there's like a boob every once in a while. Yes. And then they get back on another train. And it's very frustrating.
So Al Adamson also directed a movie called Carnival Magic, which starred his wife.
Okay, the movie poster is for sure a like choose your own adventure book. That's what it looks like.
You nailed it.
Choose your own smutty adventure.
I'd read that.
I would too, now that I've said it out loud.
So I watched the trailer for this and it looks bizarre.
Yeah.
A magician in a carnival who can actually read minds and levitate people and objects works with a super intelligent chimp named Alex who can also talk.
Oh, man.
The magician and the chimp soon become the stars of the carnival, drawing in big crowds.
I'm just thinking about that chimp. How many cartons of cigarettes he must have smoked during the making of this.
In the trailer, it goes on and on. It shows the chimp driving a car.
Yeah. Illegally.
Yeah. With a woman in the back seat and just going into oncoming traffic, just like a chimp would.
Yeah, exactly. Like a chimp high on cocaine definitely would. That is making me sad. Does the chimp have an IMDb page?
Maybe. I'll get to that in just a second.
Okay.
This film disappeared after its initial release and was considered lost until 2009 when a clean print was discovered in a warehouse. It gained cult status after being shown on Turner Classic Movies Underground and received more exposure when it was featured on Mystery Science Theater 3000 The Return.
Oh, okay.
Why have we not seen this?
I don't know. Yeah, now I'll go find that.
Like now.
Yeah,
right now.
I'm looking it up as we speak.
I will be watching this later and neglecting my editing duties to get the next show out.
Hey, life will pass you by, you know. You gotta grab onto these moments.
That sounds like something from The Last Starfighter.
I think it was.
So his last film looks like it was called Lost in 1983 and was a little girl lost in the wilds of Utah, which had Sandra Dee, Jack Elam, Ken Curtis. Did Ken Curtis play?
He was Festus.
Yeah. But also had Gary Kent, who just continues to show up in Al Adamson's films.
You can't take your eyes off of him when he's on screen. Big old blockhead. Trudy the Chimp is an actress known for Carnival Magic. That is the biography of Trudy the Chimp.
All right. Thank you for that, Jason.
Just wanted to clear that up. I feel like if I can just grasp onto one thing, then I'll feel better. You really can get lost in just the smuttiness of the 70s. You really can.
Yeah. I did.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I was all over the place today.
Did you notice that you were like unbuttoning like the top 4 buttons of your shirt and fluffing up your chest hair?
And I'm wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah, that's weird. You actually had to cut it down the middle, sew buttons onto it, and then unbutton 4 of them.
It was a tedious process, but worth it.
Yeah. This is value added.
All right. Well, thank you, Al Adamson. We will definitely be trudging through some of your crazy antics, especially immediately watching
Carnival Magic.
That looks like something that should have been in the 70s, but this is 1983.
Really? Yeah, that's just depressing by itself. We really took some ups and downs during your segment. Gutenberg was in there, and a chimp, little person.
A porn actress.
Guy died in a hot tub. Wow, had a little bit of everything.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
So, all right. Are you ready to take us down the yarn to next week's movie?
Yeah, and I'm going to really try to... I mean, usually mine are so... I try to get these done as succinctly as possible.
You mean just get in, get out, get it over with?
Let's get it over with. And I just... Well, and also sometimes I don't know which movie I want to talk about. So if there is a weird kind of like... not like synchronicity to it, but... right off the bat, I knew that I had made the right choice, though, I think.
Okay. And we're leaving Italy.
Yeah, we're going to say goodbye to Italy. Well, and who's going to see us off? Hal Yamanuchi. So, I mean, we could spend forever talking about that guy. I think we did a little bit when we were doing that last movie. But my God, he has been in so much interesting, weird shit. And is a interesting person himself. He's Japanese and Italian, which I didn't know that could happen. That is a very strange combination. In his trivia, he is the dubbed voice of
Ken Watanabe.
Yes, Ken Watanabe. Is that how you say his name?
Watanabe, yeah.
I know him from The Last Samurai.
Correct.
Anyway, I thought that was just a weird detail, is that he's the... When it has to be dubbed into Italian, he's the voice. Okay, okay, we're just going to have to glaze right over that because that goes nowhere. Fluent in several different languages. He dances. He's like a mime. I mean, he's got all this cool...
Wow, a Japanese Italian mime?
Yeah, dude.
That thought is going to haunt me.
But at the same time, he's the fucking rat eater in this shitty... You know what I mean? Like, it should not be the rat eater king or whatever. I still think it's so funny that the blonde girl that was kind of the lead in that movie is just eating rats with everybody else.
Mm-hmm. It does say here that he is fluent in Japanese, English, Italian, Chinese, and Filipino.
Yeah.
This guy's amazing.
I know. And he's still in, I mean, he is in very successful new movies. He was in Wolverine. He was in, well, wait a minute. I don't think it's one of those. I get confused.
The Wolverine.
Yeah, The Wolverine. I've never seen that one. I think that's
the one that
it's in Japan.
I didn't enjoy either.
I think the critics kind of crapped on it, but I'd probably enjoy it if I watched it. But I think he's the voice of the Silver Samurai in that. But anyway, all that aside, see, God, I really have to get these notes in order because I was all over the place.
Okay, number one on your list should be take notes.
Yeah.
2, arrange notes.
Yeah. But somehow
3, set notes on fire.
Yes.
4, try to recall what notes say.
Yeah. Try to dig through the ashes. Nope, they're all burned. Okay, so we're going down a weird weird track here. This is gonna be crazy. All right, so all that aside, Hal Yamanuchi, you're great. We appreciate it. So he was in the Wes Anderson movie, The Life Aquatic. Yes. With Steve Zissou.
Have you seen that?
I have not.
It is fun.
Yeah, I am not a huge Wes Anderson fan, but I probably need to see it. It's got a shit ton of people in it.
I think this is one of his better films, but it's just out there. It's fun. It's quirky.
Yeah, Bud Cort is in that.
Yes, he is. But Bill Murray is awesome in it.
Okay, well, so we're going to, that's why we're here, because we're going to pick up Bill Murray.
Okay. Where are we taking Bill Murray today?
We're taking Bill Murray to a kind of, I think, a movie that kind of gained cult status years after maybe it came out. I'm not sure. I know people who love this movie.
Garfield?
No, he was in Mad Dog and Glory. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think about that movie?
Yeah, I had a hard time with that movie too, but I haven't seen it since it came out in 1993.
Exactly. I haven't either, and I feel like he's doing something a little different in that movie. Maybe he's a little more, dramatic acting and not so much comedy. I could be wrong, but
I don't know.
Anyway, so he is in that movie with a very young, well, I don't know how young she is. Uma Thurman plays Glory. She looks
Uma in 1993 was 23 years old.
So this is the very beginning of her career.
And we love Uma.
Yes, of course.
She was in Johnny Be Good. That was her third film.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And that was the Anthony Michael Hall when we turned him from a nerd into a stud.
And nobody was having any of it. I remember that movie being very also hard to get through, Is that right? It would come on HBO and I'd just be like, ugh. I mean, if there is absolutely nothing else on, then I guess I will just watch this. But I mean, I would take, any of your John Cryer movies.
Yeah.
Over that.
I want to say, I don't know that I've seen it all the way through. Robert Downey Jr., Paul Gleason, Uma Thurman.
I don't think I remembered Robert Downey Jr. was in it.
He looks like he's one of the football stars. Steve James. Who is Steve James? He was an American Warrior, Mantis, Blood Fist, Weekend at Bernie's 2, McBain. I keep catching parts of McBain, by the way. With Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
And
oh my God,
Maria Conchita Alonso.
I think it was a ripoff of it seemed a lot like Let's Get Harry, but I think then that was maybe before. I'd have to look at the timeline, but it's a ripoff of something.
Right. I think that's exactly right. You nailed it.
Gosh.
Anyway,
I forgot that she played June Miller in Henry and June.
I don't remember that movie.
Well, it was about Henry Miller, and it was just, I don't know. It was a bunch of cigarette smoking and sex, and plus it's freaking
was
Fred
that
Ward.
Fred Ward having sex with Uma Thurman?
Uma Thurman. Movie is cursed.
I don't know if I can watch that.
Nope. Better just to leave it alone.
So she was in Final Analysis, Richard Gere and Kim Basinger.
Yeah.
I saw this at the theater. I want to say that I met my second wife when we went to see this. I may not have wanted to link this to anything.
Right.
So thanks for drudging up those memories.
Well, you probably
Jason.
weren't watching the movie. You were,
good point.
Man, that's got a ton of people in it. That's got Eric Roberts, Keith David. This era of all those sexy thrillers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, no thanks.
There were a lot of them, but she came back for Jennifer 8 immediately. And that's what I remember her from.
Yes. And I want to say that I saw that in the theater with maybe Chris or Michael. We definitely went to the theater to see it.
I believe that was there too.
I've got Lance Henriksen. Ooh, you know what? Yeah. I think with Lance Henriksen, I might have been able to make this shorter. I don't know. We'll.
Oh man!
I'll redo my. I think for next week, my assignment will be to do this, but with less people.
Again, if you have a better way for us to get there, please email
help us out. That would be really fun to get a little game going. Okay, so
where are we going?
We're going from Uma Thurman to.
You lost your notes again,
man,
didn't you?
I did. I surely did.
Even Cowgirls Get the Blues. Beautiful Girls. Truth About Cats and Dogs, Gattaca.
I just didn't write something. I missed a step. Okay. I'm sorry. Now we're going to Kill Bill 1.
Okay.
So we can pick up Michael Bowen, who we love.
All right. Since we've used him before, let's use him again.
Sure. I'm also creating we can't get that until the end, but I'm kind of paving the way. Something else is going to be made easier with all of this crap. Ooh. So let me get to my own thing here.
All right. Michael Bowen.
Yeah, Michael
We've
Bowen.
talked about him. 130 credits. You can go anywhere with him.
Yeah. If this is a game, he's a good piece to have in there because he was Buck. And I think we've talked about that extensively before.
We've talked about a lot of things about Michael Bowen extensively.
Yeah. Okay. Let's not dilly-dally. Time is a waste.
Okay.
So we're going to go from Michael Bowen to Jackie Brown. He was one of the...
that's a lateral move. Okay.
Yeah. Hard for me to pick a Tarantino movie that's my favorite, but Jackie Brown might be... Okay, so I was about to say that he is partners with Michael Keaton, but that's not who we're using Jackie Brown for. Sid Haig. He's the judge at the beginning. Sid Haig's another one that, the types of movies that we do.
We've already mentioned him at least once during this podcast.
Completely unrelated to this. So, okay, now this is going to be tough because I also did not write this down.
And you know that so Robert De Niro was in with Bill Murray in the movie we just mentioned. You totally could have just skipped directly to Jackie Brown.
You're right. You're absolutely fucking right. Wow.
But you wanted to go through Michael Bowen. I understand.
Well, and the way that I'm going, this is these last four are going to be like a shock to the system here. Okay, so
we still have four more to go. Okay.
Yes,
let's hear it.
Okay, so Sid Haig, R.I.P. One of the greats. So we're gonna go from him to House of a Thousand Corpses.
Okay,
like you said, there's probably a way easier way to do all this, but.
House of a Thousand Corpses was 2003.
Wow, man, that was a long time ago.
That does seem like a long time ago.
I need to rewatch it. There are people out there that absolutely love that movie, and I don't remember what I thought about it. Need to revisit it. But anyway, Karen Black is Mother Firefly. So we're going to take Karen Black to one of our favorite
Trilogy of Terror.
Trilogy of Terror. Right. Do you have any idea where I'm going with this? Because you can't. The last couple are just.
So we're not stopping there.
Nope.
Damn.
Now we might revisit that at some point. I realize now that when we play this game, we could backstep a few paces and just go to something else because all of these are insane. But.
God, Karen Black she's a
strange beauty.
She has been in 203 things. Is that what I read? Oh my God. So we're going to Trilogy of Terror. I'm finally caught up with you.
Okay. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of twists and turns.
Oh, look, there's George Gaines. He played Lassard. What?
I was just thinking, what has that guy been in? Because I only know him from the Police Academy movies.
Yes, that same thing here. He was in Tootsie. I remember him in Tootsie. Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
Oh my God, that was one of my grandpa's favorite movies.
Oh, he was in Altered States. Are we going to Altered States?
No, that's weird.
1975 Trilogy of Terror.
Wow, she was also in Capricorn 1, which we're gonna Burnt Offerings. Yeah, there's a little period in the 70s where she's doing a bunch of stuff.
We might have to do a deep dive on her.
Oh, for sure. But anyway, okay, here's where it gets weird.
We're not going with Captain Lassard.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to do Police Academy 4. Right. Citizens on Patrol. No, I can't remember which one Citizens on Patrol is. Yeah, George Gaines. I got to remember that. I got to put that in that's a piece that was missing. So here's where it gets weird. We're going to Gregory Harrison. I mean, we've talked about him more than once this week.
Have we?
because
Trapper John MD?
No, well, I mean, yeah,
God.
but I mean, we were talking about another pig-based movie. I'm not going to say. This is the only. That's what I was saying. This is the only way that I could figure out how to do it. Yeah, we're going to get Gregory Harrison. Again, this is an actor who he has been in every TV movie, every TV series since like the mid 70s.
General Hospital.
Okay, this is where it gets real weird because one of his very first acting credits is a movie called Jim, the World's Greatest. Do you see it?
I see it.
75.
Way down there, 1975.
Do you see who directed it?
Oh my God. We've had to talk about this, right?
I don't know because there are a lot of Angus Scrimm is in it. Reggie Bannister is in it. Coscarelli's wife is in it. So, and I don't even know. I mean, do you want to read the plot of it? I don't even remember what the fucking plot is.
Is this the movie we're doing?
No.
Oh, damn it.
We're going to do...
We are so far all over the place.
We're going to do Phantasm.
Are we doing Phantasm?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, does it make more sense when I was saying that it is a more popular movie?
Yes.
Now.
And we've talked about it and we continue to talk about it. Let's talk about it in depth.
Yes, that was my feeling for the whole thing, but it is hard to get out of it because you've got Reggie Bannister.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, none of the other people were stars, I don't think. I mean, I can't think of who would have been the most...
Angus Scrimm can take us just about anywhere.
I guess. I probably could have dug a little deeper. But, well, I mean, we're going to do it next week. But I just saw Reggie and I was like, Reggie, I know you're in something else being a non-Reggie guy.
But you're right. It does have such a small cast of little knowns.
And this is going to be good because I don't know that I know the story behind Phantasm and how he got it made. So this will be a good one.
It'll be a chance for us to get into what we really love. Let's do the entire series of Phantasm movies.
Hey, I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that.
And then at the end, we'll try to piece together the entire story as a whole because it's fucking bonkers.
I know it has to be. Yeah. So there you go.
All right. I really thought you were going straight to Razorback though.
Nope. We're just taking a little, just want to crush on Gregory Harrison for a little while. He's so dreamy and then.
All right. Well, I can't wait. So Phantasm next week, eh?
Yes. One of my favorite movies.
This will get us the chance to totally nerd out on Coscarelli.
Yep.
He deserves it.
He really does. So does Reggie Bannister, for that matter. If you go to Reggie Bannister's IMDb page...
I'm looking at it right now.
He was in A Very Joe Bob Christmas last year when they did... which one? They did one of the sequels. Ravager, I think, maybe?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
I think Ravager was the last one.
Now I have to watch all of them.
I have seen all of these. Really after 2, it gets really muddled for me.
Yeah. And I mean, that's saying something because 2 is kind of confusing. No, it's not kind of confusing. It's really confusing, actually, now that I think about it. Okay.
All right. We got our assignments for next week. We're going to have a lot of fun with this.
Yep. I'll find out. Let's just look real quick. Let's see what Phantasm is playing on or where it's streaming. Surely it's somewhere. But I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, chances are you've probably seen it by now.
Yeah, like this week. It looks like you can watch it just about everywhere for free.
Okay.
Phantasms
even
on
Pluto
Tubi, Peacock,
Wow.
Crackle.
I mean, that is a really, like the first 10 minutes of Phantasm is very adult.
Oh, yeah.
You see boobs almost immediately.
And I'm okay with that.
And it's on Tubi.
And I watched part of this just recently, so I'm really into it as well.
Yeah. It's remastered now, and I have seen the new kind of print of it, and it looks
freaking fantastic. We need to find out who played the
girl.
No,
the blonde.
No, the midgets in this movie.
Oh,
the little people.
I mean, and I didn't even mean to do that.
No.
You know what I mean?
I'm fine with it. You know, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I think you're too fine with it.
Maybe so. I'm a little cozy with this one. I'm going to curl up next to a little person and...
Yeah, it's like a throw pillow. Like a body pillow.
Exactly like
what would you do if you had a little Billy Barty body pillow? A Billy Barty body pillow.
Now available at Kmart, Walgreens, and other fine retailers.
Wherever drugs are sold.
All right. This is awesome. Can't wait.
Okay.
Going to have a lot of fun with it.
Yep. Don't need an excuse to watch that one.
We wanted to watch it anyway.
Yep.
All right, Jason, do you have anything else to offer off of last week's show, 2019 After the Fall of New York?
I mean, there are things to talk about, but I'm spent.
All right.
I'm done.
Done and done. Well, let's wrap this bitch up.
Okay.
Can you tell everybody where they can find us, Jason?
You guys can go to themoratorium.com.
The one-stop shop for everything moratorium. That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Word on the street is you're a jerk.
That's it.
No, sorry.
Buzz off, kid.
What do you think that kid's doing right now?
Probably reliving the nightmare of being screamed at by Joe Don Baker.
Paid him to go get roast beef sandwiches in between takes. I guess. I
big
don't
old
know
buttery moon. Didn't get to finish my orange. All right, guys. That's going to wrap up this show. You can find us on all the social medias. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. We have a growing Facebook group. Check us out there. You can also find us on Instagram. I'm posting daily. Anyway, if you'd like to support this podcast, you can go to our Patreon. You can find that at themoratorium.com on our Patreon link, or go to Patreon and look us up wherever you have to go. I don't give a shit. Just get there.
Wow. Man.
I'll edit the hell out of that one.
Hey, sometimes you got to just lay all your cards on the table.
That's it. So for only as little as $1 a month, you can support this podcast. If you want to give us just a couple of more dollars a month, I'm going to give you some freebies.
Nice.
Okay. For $3 a month, you can get into our Patreon and get the director's cuts of our movie episodes straight to your ear holes. I cut out 20, 30 minutes per episode on our movies and save it just for our Patreon subscribers. If you want to throw us a little bit more, we're going to give you some extra freebies. I've got membership cards. I got VHS tape night lights. I've got stickers. If you want to give us a little extra, I'm going to give you a little extra. So head on over to our Patreon page and help us out. We could use it.
Passing the savings on to you.
Also, I've got nothing else to say. I'm spent as well, Jason.
You lost steam just at mid-sentence.
I'm still looking up little people, and I get distracted.
Oh, boy. Yeah,
it's going to happen.
I know. Yeah, you're right.
All right, well, let's wrap this bitch up.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
And bye-bye.
See you later.
You've been listening to The Yarn Wall, an MT Cornfield production. Tune in next week when this podcast grows some balls with Phantasm. If you haven't seen Phantasm or haven't seen it in the last month, please stop what you're doing and immediately get your ass in front of the screen. What are you waiting for? Do it now! If you have any movie suggestions or just want to tell us how much we really suck, you can contact us at moviemoratorium@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and long live VHS.
My search history is forever cursed.
You're welcome.